Kevin Hogan is internationaal spreker en trainer. Hij is auteur van meer dan 24 boeken die zijn vertaald in meer dan 45 talen. Zijn bekendste boek is de bestseller The Psychology of Persuasion. How to Persuade Others to Your Way of Thinking. Nou, wie wil het nou niet? Hij traint ondernemingen als Boeing, Microsoft en andere Fortune 500 companies. Dus als jij ook wil weten hoe je anderen moet overtuigen, ik zou zeggen stay tuned, laat je niet afleiden, concentratie op 1000 en we gaan van start. Hi, Kevin Hogan. Very excited to meet you. I'm a big fan of yours, so welcome in the Netherlands, our tiny country. You're in the USA, so a big welcome to you, Kevin.
Thank you very much. It is great to be here with you, Alex. And hello to everybody there. I've been to your country, and I love it. I love Amsterdam. I love sitting down in a coffee shop and just watching the bicyclists bike by and bicycle with things like I've seen people in Amsterdam drive by the shop, the coffee shop, with like a little dresser, like for their kids' bedroom on their bicycle handlebars. You guys are good at winter. I mean, it's amazing. It's wintertime and you people are biking through the streets. You got my respect. I love it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because of you love biking or the streets are so narrow that you can't even park there. So I don't know about that one. But we love our bikes. So you're a master or the master persuader in my book. Let's say you're the godfather of persuasion. And that's why I asked you to join us. Because if there's somebody who knows how to persuade, it's you. And you have a lot of YouTube videos also. You have kevinhogan.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a lot of books. I also told the people in the intro. How much is about now? 24 books?
It is 24 books, and we're in 45 or 6 languages now. So it keeps growing. And this year, because of COVID, we're writing 2 more books at home on persuasion. We're doing hypnotic persuasion, and we're also doing prestige persuasion. And we're writing them both at the same time, and they're almost done. So maybe a January 1 release date for one of them. We don't know which is coming first. That's the truth.
So you're very prolific. I love that. So in the pre-call, I talked to you what I wanted to talk to you about the expert positioning. And you told me that's just a tiny part of the selling process. And indeed, that's true. But one of the most shocking things is that I saw in one of your videos is that 90% of the people are 90% unconscious most of the time. And that would include me. So that's terrifying. But it also means that we have to influence people on a very different level. Can you talk to us about that?
Sure. Just think about your phone as people handle. Everybody who's listening, you have your phone. It's right there, really close to you. And if you hear the notification, right, exactly, right. And if we hear the notification right now, I have to go. Wait a second. I'm talking to Alex and everybody in Amsterdam and the Netherlands, and I can't take it, right? So I can't do it. Not that I want to anyway, guys. But it's there, and so we didn't think about it. We heard the notification though, and so we grabbed the phone and we just looked, and we always tell the person the same thing. It's not important, and we put it right back down, right?
Yeah.
That's a really interesting world that you live in. Now let's just look at what happened there, guys. It's like you and everybody else around you here, all of us, we're all looking at our phone, even though it's not important as a person that I'm talking to, which is Alex. And I just picked up my phone and I looked at the phone as if it might be more important than Alex. That's a non-conscious response there. It's programmed in. So the question is no longer, how can I make this great presentation, this 1 hour presentation or 2 hours or 10 minutes or whatever it is for my sales gig or copywriting. Long copy still sells, but you better know what changed in the last 10 years. And part of it is just assume that this phone is going to go off 7, 8, 9, 10 times with notifications in the time that somebody's reading your copy or watching your video or listening to you make a sales presentation. Now, that person is non-consciously responding to this all the time. So every time they do, they forget what you were saying because they're not paying attention to anything except for this in their brain. It's disturbing. So you have to be ready. Once you've started to put information into their brain, you're sort of downloading data, information, cool ideas, benefits. What do you get out of this? Why do business with Kevin? Why not go get Robert or one of the other guys? There's a few other good people out there after all. And so why not do that? And then be prepared for the interruption, which comes here. And now I've got to say, okay, Alex, here's the deal. Sorry, I didn't realize about the phone. Silly me. So anyway, here's the thing. You can do the wealth accumulation system. That's probably the best course that we have available, I think. It's 10 weeks. It's the most comprehensive. If you're looking for a quick, easy fix and you want to get rich tomorrow morning, it's not going to work. But if you want something that's actually going to work and be valuable for life and worth doing, I suggest that would be the rocket science answer right there. And that's the end. And so that's the top down. So we build up this big structure, and then the phone goes off. Right? The phone goes off, and nobody knows this, by the way. Nobody knows this. It's like, so the phone goes off, and now you have to go from top down because they've literally spaced this out. Just like the phrase, if you guys write down the phrase, as simple as that. Kevin Hogan says 4 minutes of information and says, and guys, it's as simple as that. We did a little test at boot camp 3 years ago, and we found out that when we say it's as simple as that, people don't remember what Kevin just said. Is that cool or what? So if we're talking about something that's really controversial, and there's all kinds of that stuff going on in the world right now, and just imagine that, like, everybody's passionate about stuff right now in the world. This is fine and cool, all right? But just say that you can't, like, be on the same page with the person that you're talking about the subject, and it's politics and all this health issues and all this kind of stuff. Just think about this for a second. Say, you know what? Blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah, and it's as simple as that, right? And the person goes, exactly. They have no idea that they were just talking about something over here. And now you can actually make a brief presentation of an idea, a thought, something that you're looking to get through. And they wake up. They're now awake for the first time. Okay.
But it's a reactive phrase. So, yeah, indeed. And then they're awake. Then you pull them into your world.
Precisely.
Because you have a lot of, you have to attract the attention, because it's not only the phone that's distracting you. It's all stimulus response, right? I have to go to work. I have to change my clothes. I have to eat. Stimulus response. So you're not thinking consciously. You have to get people out of that state.
We're living on that, right? We're living on stimulus response. There's an email, I have to answer it. There's a text on Facebook, I really should answer it. People say all the time, Kev, what were you talking about in the text message? I don't even remember texting the person because my non-conscious mind did it. All right. It's like, really, I don't remember. And if I do remember, I was conscious, but why wasn't I working? It's because I don't recall what I was just doing. And here's the truth is that whether you're parenting or you're writing your sales copy, you really don't remember what you were just doing. You can't tell people accurately. We've tested it. People don't remember, and they don't remember responding to the email, or they'll say, I responded. Oh, no, wait a second. That was Bill I talked to. Oh yeah, I'll get to that. We're non-conscious. Me too, by the way, a good chunk of the time,
Yeah, we're not, we can't get out of it. We're just all slaves to our unconscious processes.
No, you can get out of it, but you have to be willing to accept more stress.
Yeah,
okay?
That's true.
Okay, so anything that agrees with your current belief structures and all that kind of stuff goes right in. Non-conscious. Yes, that's right. Absolutely. He's evil, or he's wonderful. She's great. She's terrible. Whatever. All that just goes right in. But as soon as I say, wait a second, what would happen if Kate Upton was over there? Or, it's like one of my favorite models in the world from Sports Illustrated, right? Beautiful girl. I always tell people, you want to be Kate Upton. You want to be Kate Upton. And I'm a guy, and I got a beard, So how am I going to be Kate Upton, this beautiful Sports Illustrated model? Okay, so I'm not going to look good in the bathing suit. So I have to pick another way to have as much value as she does for gaining attention. She gains attention just because somebody looked at her, right? But I can't do that. I'm not that good looking. I'm 7.4 on the scale. Okay, so it's like I'll
give you a 9, Kevin, and maybe the bathing suit will work.
Oh man, good job, you guys. Yeah. I love you guys over there.
It might work. Don't knock it.
Right, and by the way, right there is a good way to do it too. If we tell people that, they'll actually go, really?
Yeah, it might. Yeah.
So the deal is I want you guys to be Kate Upton of your niche, of your field, of your work, of the product today. You're going to have to be better than everybody else because there's competition now. And as we have fewer choices out here in the world, we're doing fewer things. We're going to fewer restaurants, true? Okay. True. We're visiting fewer. I haven't been to a stadium in a long time. I used to do stadium. My wife was asking me, she says, Kev, when do you think you're going back to Europe? And I'm like, I don't know. And then you asked the same question in the pre, and I don't know, because we really don't. And so with fewer choices, all right, with fewer choices, we have to now be the best of everybody who's out here in fewer choices. That means we can't just use a swipe file for our copywriting. It means we can't actually just use the exact words anymore, because they're all using them too. All right, we're all doing the same thing, sort of. So why talk to Kevin? Why talk to Alex? What is it about Alex that makes Alex unique and remarkable?
Yeah, you don't have to only be the best, but you have to be perceived as the best, and that's also a big problem for a lot of people.
This is where the power of the first heard story comes in really valuable. You guys can Google a video, but the concept is really simple. The very first thing that people hear about you, whatever it is, they believe that forever. So if they hear, oh, Kevin Hogan, he's a wonderful guy and he's nice and he'll help you out and he really wants you to do well in business, if that's the first story they hear about Kev, they believe that. That's what they think forever. If they think, I saw him like really rip on a guy for talking at the back of the room at an event over in Poland 2 years ago, I did too. It's like, he's a bit of a hard ass, which it can be true too if I'm having a bad mood or, I'm a person, but that's the first thing they hear. And so either story will change the person's perception of the brand, of this brand. And think of yourself, guys, as everybody out there should think of yourself as a brand. You take your name and you brand that, and you think like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, whatever, like think of yourself as a brand. And you should be pretty close to your brand. And if you're close to your brand, now people are going to have a reason to go back to you, because we always get the same thing to drink when we go to the restaurant, right? You always order the whatever, right? Whatever it is. Okay. You always get the beer, the wine, the Diet Coke, whatever it is. And you do it every single time. Loyalty is really important to install long-term. Great. You got the sale today. That's like getting the date. I'm proud of you. But did you get like the follow-up long-term forever revenue from the stream? Does that matter to you? Is it important? Do we really care? Oh no, I want to try to make new business all day long. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's the most expensive way to get business. The new client, the first client. Yeah.
Right. So that's where we begin.
Yeah. So I want to keep them coming back, but I have to first grab attention. So what do? Do you have some tips or a guideline? Because like you said in your book, we love templates.
We do. And it's true. And we need templates, but we also have to grow past them sometimes.
Yeah,
so we know there's a few things that are really great at grabbing attention. Surprise. So a surprising headline would be your name, like the person who's watching this, their name says, and people love to see quotes. As soon as they see things in quotes, you guys should write this down. Use a pencil and paper, by the way. Write it down. As soon as you see something in quotes with a name after it, we tend to believe it more as being correct and true. That's pretty valuable, right?
Right.
So put your headline, if you've got your headline or your sales presentation, the very first thing I'm gonna say to Alex, if we're sitting here, we're selling cell phones today, you walked into my store because we just opened up after 4 months. It's like, here's the deal. This one right here, the Samsung Galaxy S, what is it, 10 or something like that. It's like, this is worth getting. It's only $500 right now, or $1,000 because the next model came out. But you know what? This one's just as good. Here's the secret. Galaxy makes more money if they sell you this one. So if you're okay with paying Galaxy, even the price is less, but they make more money, it keeps them in business. They're going to be able to service your phone for a lot less money. Whatever the claim is, put it in quotes and put your name here. People believe it. They understand it more. They go back, they'll reread it, and keep it to about 4 lines. If you're communicating information verbally, you're talking about less than 30 seconds. Okay, less than 30 seconds. Attention spans used to be long. Today, really, really short.
Is it really short, or is it just our perception? And I'm talking about you have the Joe Rogan podcast. That's 3 hours, and it's a success.
Here's the secret is that you always want your podcast to be, people are like, should I do a 4-minute podcast? I go, yeah, if you're looking for the 4-minute person. No, you want to, if you're serious about your business, your sales, and you're being successful in business, you need 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You have to be better than like somebody who can do something in 4 hours.
Yeah. I just lost your audio. You're back again.
It's 6 seconds, right?
Yeah.
6 seconds.
I just lost your audio a little bit.
Oh, audio?
Yeah, you're back again. Okay.
Yeah. You guys just listen to the YouTube. We probably weren't talking about that. TikTok. So everybody should go to TikTok like one time today, just for the heck of it, and just like look there for 1 minute and notice that they put 12 things and the fact that anybody can do it. My question is, of the anybody's who can do it, about 1 in 3,000 is going to make some money off of those things. Okay, they will. We call them influencers, even though they're really not. But that's okay. They'll be around for about 1.5 years. That's fine. We're happy to have them. God bless them. Keep them going. I'm happy for them. But here's the thing: I don't have anything that good for 6 seconds. I can't do anything for you for 6 seconds. I don't look that good. I don't jump off trampolines into tall buildings, so I'm not going to do it. But that's where our awareness is right now, is at that 6 seconds. So now I'm looking for somebody, knowing who I want to talk to. I want to talk to somebody who's smart, somebody has a reason to do long-term business with me. So in other words, if they want me to be like their mentor about how to take care of their car, I'm the wrong person. I don't know anything about cars, nothing, zero. So I can't help you. So the answer is no, I don't want to help you unless I can do this. Don't talk to me and don't call me, and please, and I don't answer my phone. I rarely answer email. I took Alex's email because I loved, I looked at his name and I thought, God, this is either spam.
What?
This is either, no, because when you look at your name and email, I'm telling you, it's like, I would put up there, is Alex, and then you got to say that name. Good luck. But it was very interesting. And I was like, I like that. And so I looked, and it was a very good invitation, very wise. If you guys are on LinkedIn, everybody says, hey, I noticed your profile. I noticed your profile. What a stupid thing to say, guys. Why would we do that? Noticed your profile. No, you didn't. So here's what you do. You say, I got a LinkedIn message yesterday. Guy says, I read the Psychology of Persuasion. It changed my life because I did this one thing. And then he said, Jill Wheaton was her name, Jill Wheaton. And then she just signed it. She says, so if you ever want to connect and say hello, say hello. So I dropped her note right back. One of the very few. I said, hello. That was a great connecting line. Do that with every single person you do. You'll be a wealthy person in no time. That's how you connect with people. You know, you saw something that they did? No. You saw something that you did and you acted on it in your life. You know, you use their brand of motor oil in your car. That's going to get their attention. That's cool. You know, so that's what we want to do.
Yeah,
so
I didn't do that, by the way. So I actually read that post that you made about how to contact you. I'm like, oh no, I screwed up.
No, but it was fun though. But actually, the surprise element of the name, because you have 3 hyphens in your name, is that correct?
True.
Right? And I've never seen that before. I've never seen that. And I loved it. And it's like, I was like, dang, that's really good. That's almost as good. Hey, here's another secret, guys, that nobody knows. It's like if you ever write something like a book or a piece of copy, advertising copy or sales copy, a letter, an email, anything like that. If you put Kevin Hogan, that's fine. If you put Kevin L. Hogan, L. for the middle initial, you're seen as more intelligent, more respected, making more money, and more likely to be trustworthy, because you have a middle initial there.
Michael J. Fox. I knew it.
That's a great example.
That's great.
Is that cool? That's cool.
It's very cool. And also, if you, I read if you do it bold, the letters in bold, also more trustworthy. So there's a lot of things dials that you can twist and turn.
Bold is powerful. Bold is great, but always keep it to 2 lines, less than 2 lines, like 1.75 lines or less. This is just another one of those nuanced things that we've caught over the years.
Yeah.
It's like when people used to bold like 5 lines of copy. True. And of course, It's like nobody can read that. It's like, you know, the drug companies in the United States, they're required by law to do this. They have to bold and put in capital letters all of the side effects and the warnings and all that. Nobody can read it. They're thrilled to do this. I swear to goodness, I think their PR firm is like, oh, we should really put all of this stuff in the copy.
I read somewhere that if they put all the side effects on it, that people will be more likely to think it will work.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
The advertising that goes through, if you ever watch an ad for any kind of medication whatsoever, the really good drug companies, I mean, they've all figured this out. It's like this will help your pain go away. There you go. And by the way, the side effects, early death is possible. People love that. You know, you're sick, you could feel nausea, you can have all these things, dizziness, headaches, and all this stuff, and it makes them more likely to purchase. You can mention the weaknesses. I've told this to people forever. If you mention your weaknesses, I don't know anything about cars. Nothing. I'm an idiot. I know nothing. People say, wow, that's weird. I've never heard somebody mention something stupid about themselves. And they'll listen now. It's like, what is he good at? Oh, there's nobody who can put together a persuasive piece of work better than I can. That's a fact. Nobody. I've never seen it. Cialdini gave up a long time ago. He's got 6 laws of persuasion. He just came up number 7. We got 62, so we did fine, right? And that's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to say that, and it's okay. And people, when they see you, they want to feel certainty, right?
Yeah.
Because when they read your copy, when they get that sales presentation, they should know that you don't know nothing about this piece of business here, this kind of thing, whatever that is. You should be able to have a couple of those stories, okay? I can't speak a foreign language. I can say hello, good day, everybody. I get all kinds of languages, like 60. Dzień dobry, jestem Kevin Hogan, so I can say hello and Vitami and welcome and all that in all the countries, but I don't want to learn any languages. That's why I bring an interpreter. And by the way, your weakness becomes a strength, right? Write this down, guys. Your weakness becomes a strength. Why? So Kevin can't learn the language. I'm not as smart as these people. You guys are all bilingual. Everybody in Europe is bilingual.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Everybody. It's so cool. I couldn't do that for anything. Okay. Now, so I have a disadvantage though, because I am now considered weak. So now I have to, what's the upside of this? Well, I have to bring an interpreter everywhere I go. What does that tell you about the person? They can afford an interpreter.
You can afford
right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, and I bring an interpreter and I bring a manager from the country with me, somebody who will show me around and take care of me and make sure that everything is good. I don't screw up. I don't do any faux pas. It's like all of a sudden now the perception of the value of the person increases. I've already told them that I'm not as smart as you guys. That's a fact, by the way. I can't speak the language. I've tried. I gave up a long time ago, And yes, I can understand and overhear people saying words, and I can catch what they're saying about me in most languages, but that's about it. So take your weakness, turn it into a strength, and you should be able to mention weakness about your product in your sales copy. You should be able to mention a weakness about your services or whatever it is you do to anybody, to a woman, to the girl you want to ask out, to your wife, to your kids. You're bad at something. Let them know you're bad at something. People love it. It's okay. It's terrifying to people, by the way. Yeah. Salespeople especially. God, I don't want anybody to think I'm bad. Yeah, you do. It's actually okay.
I will choose something that's not as bad for me, so I don't mind. You can choose your weaknesses. Expert points. So you brought up another great point. It's about you have to be certain as a salesperson, or you have product or service to sell. You have to be really certain yourself. Can you talk a little bit about this? Because it's more than just I'm awesome. You literally have to feel it, believe it, and it will make the mirror neurons. Well, I won't discuss it further. Take it away.
Mm-hmm. So this is critical. This is the game changer, the difference maker between people. Really, is that when I say something, if I'm talking about anything that's in my wheelhouse, I'm good at. There's about 10 things I'm good at and about 500 that I'm not. Once I'm talking about gold, if I'm talking about collecting musicians' jewelry, there's all kinds of stuff that I do that I'm pretty good at. I buy gold, I sell gold, I invest in money, I tell people what to do with their money just based on what's going on in the world. Things like this. It's like if you want to know about that, there's nobody who's going to do a better job. And that's why that people hire Kevin Hogan. There's a million reasons not to hire me. Right? So you should know what you're good at, and don't ever try to look when you're looking at life, sit there and go, I'm good at these things and I suck at these things. Most people sit here and try to get a little better at these things, and they spend all day long trying to get better at something they're terrible at. The things that they're really good at already, like I'm a good chess player, I'm a good guitar player, but I can't play with, I've played with some amazing people, but I can't keep up. I turn my amp all the way down, right? So I'm smart enough to know if they want to hang out and I want to hang out, but I'm turning my amp down. I'm just there to have fun, right? Now, certainty is this. Certainty means I say, Alex, I need you to stop off at the store. I want you to pick up a loaf of bread. I need you to grab some milk and some butter for us, okay? All right, and then we can have dinner, and it'll be really nice, and I'm looking forward to that. Cool. All right, I got to get back to work. Now, what I just did is I changed your whole life, okay? I didn't say, Alex, I believe in you. You should know this. You should know that I really believe that you can go out there and get butter and bread and a stick of gum too. And I really believe with all my heart that you can make it back. And I'm positive. And I'm really believing in you, man. And I really want you to be able to know this. And you're okay. Wow. Right? That's what the positive psychology movement's all about, is telling your kids, I really believe in you, kid. I really know you can do it. I'm sure you can. Versus, okay, kid, here's the deal. Go over there, grab that, bring it back now. Okay?
And I love that one. I used it on my daughters. Yeah, just
Certainty
be very
pays.
certain. But most salespeople aren't certain of their own product or service. So they come in, this is about expert positioning also, right? But they come in very low, like, please choose me, please buy my product, and give all the, yeah, all the incentives to buy, but they're not certain. So how can we get certain?
I want everybody to sit here and think about how you would tell your girlfriend, your wife, your friend, your roommate, whoever, how you would go to the store to get food, or that you are going to go and buy gasoline for your car today. Okay, honey, I'm going to buy gas. I'll be back in 20 minutes. I didn't say I'm going to try really, really hard, right? I just said, honey, I'm going to the store. I'm going to get gas. I'll be back in 20 minutes. Okay, that's it. So I want you to literally to come up with whatever it is that you're that sure of. Like, I'm going to go grab the mail. I'll be back in a minute. I've got to go online. I need to respond to Kevin on Facebook. Give me 5 minutes. Okay, that's certain, right? Okay, I'm coming. I just got to do this for real quick, and because we got the gig going today and we got to do the webinar and all that. Okay, so that's certain. You're 100% sure that you're going to be with the person. So you want to start communicating about the things that you are certain about. If you're not certain about your company, by the way, okay, let's step one step back. Guy comes up to me at a convention, and this is not a joke, unfortunately. He says, Kev, he says, I'm working at Merck. He says, I really don't like Merck. Merck is a big drug company here in the US.
Mhm.
And he says, I shouldn't probably even tell a story like this, but this is the way it was. So he says, I really, Pfizer, their products are better, their services, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I said, what? He says, what do I do? How do I compete? I said, okay, go to the sales manager at Pfizer and tell him the story that you just told me and you'll have a job. And he's like, no, but help me. And I'm like, no, really, go to Pfizer tomorrow and tell him what you just told me. Tell him that Kevin Hogan said to hire you because you're that believable about Pfizer. And he got a job. he was doing fine, you know? So it's pretty cool. So that's certainty when you're like that. If you're questionable about your company, all right, then you better have a damn good reason as to why you are representing that company. Because that incongruity inside of the self is not good for us. All right. If I'm sitting here telling what I'm looking around, like, what don't I know about here? Like, how to fix a microphone. If I'm sitting, there you go. What is it? It's a blue microphone over here, not plugged into the computer like it should have been. So here we got a blue microphone. Somebody says, hey, Kev, can you tell me how to fix it? I'll say yes, and I can charge you $100 an hour for that, except for I'm not telling the truth because I can't fix the microphone. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. Okay, so I should not be putting myself out there as the salesperson for this microphone. That's just the way that you must do business. It's like, I can tell you that it's a great microphone when it works, and I know what I'm doing is when I talk and it actually shows up as having good audio. But obviously, when I put it in this morning and I tested the computer, it didn't work. All right. This is so important that people are, we call it in NLP, we called it congruent. Okay. But in real life, we just call it tell the frickin' truth.
That's true. But
Okay.
what if you know that you can help the person, but you're not sure how the other person feels about you? So you have a lot of people, they know how to do the job, but not how to sell themselves.
You know, I really like this part. I think that a lot of people that don't have 50 years of experience, there's two things. Do you want to go to the doctor? You know, just think about reframing. Reframing is really important, and this is a great way to make certainty, right? Think about it like this. How long have I been doing this? 30 years, almost 30 years teaching persuasion. 30 years is a long time, right? So 30 years teaching persuasion. All right. So I have 30 years of experience. All right. Not bad. Okay, but wait a second. Let's say that somebody else comes up over here and say that they want to do well. Other people have come up and want to do well. And I have literally mentored them and I've told them, here's what you want to do. You want to say, look, I study all this stuff. We go and test it over here. We do this and we do this. Kev, you don't have time to do that. Okay, now let's say that that's true. Let's say that I don't have the time. So now they say, okay, so what we're doing that Kev can't do is this and this and this and this. Okay, so Kev's a great guy to bring in. You should consider hiring him next year. Bring him for sure. But if you want somebody who's on the cutting edge of specific communication for your industry, Kev will be the first person to tell you that he's not that person unless you're in banking. Okay, if you're in banking or in the charity fields or something like that, he's not the number one. He doesn't have the pulse on every single organization. Okay, this is what we do, and we only do it with car manufacturers, or we only do it with banks, or like that. So separate yourself out from the expert. Don't knock the expert. Never say anything bad about anybody. I'll tell you what, if nothing else, be selfish. Okay, he will help you someday. Okay,
True.
say good things about everybody. I call this positive gossip. Say good things about everybody behind their back all the time. Okay. And over here, set yourself. Find out what is it here that's going to make you believable, plausible, special. And to this person, why are they going to believe you? It's going to be, you know what? That's true. He's pretty good, and they're good, and I like that company. But here's the deal: if you do that, you're going to get 7-year-old information. I'll give you an example. This is coming out in the new book, and it hasn't been told to anybody. So you guys are getting this before anybody.
Yes.
If you guys have written copy, this is cool. This is seriously amazing. The papers were just released 3 weeks ago. Let's call it 3 weeks ago. So loss aversion. We all know that loss aversion, people are much more likely to fear loss than they are to get gains, right? And you think to yourself, so I'm going to write my sales copy and push loss aversion and all this kind of stuff. But here's the thing. Ready for this? It turned out to be wrong.
What?
Yeah. The fear of loss is not more powerful than the desire to gain. Now, this is going to hit probably, my book will come out, let's call it January 1st, plus or minus a month. Starting in February, you're going to hear everybody say, I have the secret. And the secret is that you can start pushing loss aversion less and start pushing pleasure, upside, benefit, potential again, because it turns out they're almost exactly equal across subjects. And I mean, I'm talking 20 different fields of study were tested with this. Yeah. And Kahneman and Tversky, the guys who came up with this originally in '83, with heuristics and biases, these guys were geniuses, and they did some great research. And it was based on this research, when it was trying for replication, that the scientists have now discovered that loss aversion is only as good. It's not less, but it's only as good as the desire for gain or increase, which is just freaking phenomenal. So what this means is that you don't have to push the button so hard all the time. Okay. And we already knew one thing, which a lot of people don't know, but we already knew that if you push loss aversion or pain too hard, that people will walk away and run away. People will run away from the fear, if you push too hard anyway. So there's one we did know, but not a lot of people know, versus one that's brand new. I mean, that's seriously
Is this the
cool.
same as that's when people are in fear and then you release the fear?
No, that's a different way. That's a story.
Okay.
So as people, by the way, I have a question for you, Alex. Of everybody watching this today, make a guess for me. Like, how many people there write copy? How many people make sales presentations?
What do you mean?
What percentage of people? Who are we talking to here? Mostly
Entrepreneurs. So mostly freelancers. So and small companies. So I would bet most that are watching.
Okay, really, really good. So everybody should know here a story. Alex just asked a question that most people wouldn't even catch as being like critical. The question is like fear and then release. This is huge. There are two sets of emotions that make for powerful sales presentations and powerful copy. And I've read copy. I've written, I don't know, 18 or 19 pieces of $1 million copy for myself. I've written maybe 5 or 6 for other people. And I've taught people, a lot of people to write $1 million copy. It's fun. It's fun. But here's the deal. The success line is not because we do great headlines. The success is not because we do great bullets. The success is not because we have a great guarantee. It's not even because we have a freaking great offer. And the offer is really important. The success is all about two emotions in the story that you're telling, that you're coming up here with. It's like, I was walking down the street. Where was I at? I was in Poland. I'm walking down the street. And we're on. I've asked Aga to take me to the Russian embassy. It's the middle of the night, so we get up to the Russian embassy, and we walk up to these guards. There's 2 guards and the embassy's way off the street in Warsaw, Warszawa. So we're coming here, and the guards ask her, like, who is this person and why is he here? He said, that's Kevin Hogan, and he'd really like to go into the embassy. Tell Kevin Hogan he has to leave. He can't go. Now, this is a great story, and it starts off really kind of scary, spooky, and weird, right? So it's a little fearful, a little disturbing, and all of a sudden, it's like, so how does it end? So if you stick with this emotion here, the emotion is not going to make a sale. People think because you have a scary story, you have Friday the 13th or Halloween or whatever, Saw or whatever, Omen, that you're going to make a sale, but you're not. You have to release it. You have to release the fear. You have to release the pain. And we call that fear and then relief, right? Fear and relief. Same is true of pain and relief. Always push down a little bit, make the person a little bit nervous, get them thinking about it, and then release it. Now, here's the secret. A lot of people have seen me write or other people borrow that information and put it out there. Something that most people don't know is there's one that's even stronger than that, which is pretty cool. Here's another one we've never put out there. Disgust and joy, it turns out, is actually more powerful than fear and relief. So in other words, you're writing sales copy or you're getting ready for your presentation, and you can say literally like something that was disgusting. They walked in the door. It's like, do you know who's outside? There's people outside the street there, and then you tell what they're doing. It's like, just sharing in case you have to feel like you got to take care of that before you talk to me, because that's not helping your company any, whatever it is. Okay. There's all kinds of gross things I can think of, but disgust is one of those things that captures our attention. It's amazing.
True.
It's amazingly powerful. But if you stick with the disgust, you won't get the sale. But if you stick with the disgust and say, and by the way, you know, it's funny because if those people are gone or if that problem is taken care of, I have seen people walk by this building many times, look up and go, dang, this is a nice place. You know, it's like, so that's got to be on you because you're the sales manager here. So nicely done.
But the next question is, how can I use my psychic powers? Because I have psychic powers. I don't know if I told you.
I knew you were
get
good.
into the mind of my customer and really grab their attention and draw them into my world so they need to buy my product.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, Alex does have psychic powers. And here's what's really cool is that even if they're not real, here's what Alex knows. Alex knows that he can read your mind. And here's what you're thinking. Today you were thinking this. You were thinking, and Alex already knows this, but you guys out there, you haven't heard this, but Alex knows specifically that you were thinking this week about like how the way that you make money might change next year, for example, even next month. And it's actually been kind of bugging you, tickling you at the back of your head a little bit. Like you're like, you know, I'm not sure. I mean, you're not so worried like that you're going to make money. You're not concerned about that, but it's like how and where will it come from and how will it come? So in other words, you haven't been worrying like so much about yourself. It's not so much self-doubt. I mean, yeah, that's there once in a while. Okay. But what's really been there is like, how is it going to be a little bit different? Okay. Now, how do I know that Alex knows that you know that? All right. All right. The reason I know that is because that's human experience. Money is a survival tool. Without it in the 21st century, we die. Okay. Without money, you die. All right. So we must have money to continue on. And when money is threatened, which is almost every single day of our life, we get concerned about it.
Just lost the audio. Okay, you're back again.
Right? There we go. Sorry, guys. So we want to show people that's the first thing. That's one thing. The second thing is that Alex is really good at recognizing in you guys is I bet you he knows that you, and this may not be a critical thing, but I'll bet you've had a challenge with a personal relationship like recently, like you got pretty mad, like upset within recently. All right. And it's not like Alex told me your name. He didn't tell me your name. He did not tell me just how painful this was, but he saw in your star chart, your astrological sign, or however he does it with his psychic powers, he saw that you were having a challenge with the personal relationship and that it mattered and it's really bugging you, but you got to set it aside because you got to work, you got to make money, you got to try to live with the person if that's what it is. It's not always that, by the way, with you, is it though? It's not always the living with the person. Sometimes it's like somebody who you see often enough and it's just, they kind of grate on you a little bit. It's challenging for sure. And he was telling me that you have that challenge and that's another one. And so how does this happen? It's because this proximity, the closer that two people are in physical distance to each other, the closer that we become to somebody, the more likely we are to get upset with them. Okay. So I always use this analogy. Think of yourself if you live in an apartment complex or a condo. You live here and then somebody lives next to you and then somebody lives next to them. They're over here. At this person, you probably don't even know their name. Okay. And you've probably never been upset with them. But this person that lives next door to you here, you probably give some irritating experiences with them. Okay. Why? Because they're closer. However, none of these compare to the person that you live with. Okay. All right. We don't want to kill the person 2 doors down ever. But the person that you live with, you've pondered it. Okay. You've pondered. It's like, oh,
never, Kevin. Never.
Never, except for every single person. So So we all have the personal relationship challenge, right? It's all of us. Every single one of us does. Okay, every single one of us. And this again is human experience, proximity of two humans together, because we all see reality just a little bit differently. And that's why, by the way, well, no, we won't solve the problem. Let's just talk about the psychic powers. So there we go. So number 3, let me think here. Okay. So Alex was telling me recently that he knows that there's somebody watching this video specifically that's a really big skeptic. Okay, a serious skeptic. You know, like, I don't believe anything that Kevin's going to say. All right, and here's the deal. Alex was thinking and messaging this person and telling him, say, you know what, you should be skeptical. You should be, and you should always ask Kevin to give some proof of something, because the man talks all the time. How do we actually know that everything that he's saying is correct? So be skeptical, ask. Now here's the thing. The great thing is that all of us are skeptical and in fact cynical. We're in a different world today. We're not just a little skeptical of what people say. We're like, no, I don't believe that. I'm not even going to talk about that. That's terrible. Okay. So we're cynical and we're skeptical. Everybody. Just talk to people about the current political situations in the world and the current health situations. That's all you need. Every single person you talk to is skeptical about somebody, right? I promise you. And so as you communicate in sales copy or in a sales presentation, let the person know it's okay for you to be skeptical and a little bit concerned, because I'm asking you to make a change and change your insurance company after 30 years with the guy. Look, I respect loyalty a lot. I want that too, but here's the deal. State Farm Insurance, big, great company, they don't offer discounts for great credit scores, okay? So, but we do. And if you have a good credit score over 720 or whatever, however they do it in your country, that could, and find a reason that you can actually pull a piece of business that the person has had for 30 years, okay? And you can actually pull it over here. So if the person meets a criteria, and you've got to think about this, what's the common experience of people? What's the common experience? So if you know that you tend to meet with people that have good credit or some specific set of criteria or some good set of things, you can point to those things and they're going to be right almost all the time. People are very skeptical, and they should be. And Alex knew that about you. And that's what's really cool.
And what will be the response of somebody who, well, Alex is reading my mind? What does that do in a person?
It's amazing. It's almost, it starts off startling, by the way. You talk about surprise. Here's another one. When I say, like, if I say, I know that you have had Alex was telling me there's a viewer watching that's gone through a lot of pain in life. And the interesting thing about this is that they really didn't feel like they deserve it. And as I think about it, they really probably don't, because they've really done nothing wrong to deserve this disaster that happened to them in life. But it happened. I mean, it happened. They did nothing wrong. But Alex knew that it was there. And so the response is that it's like, God, I mean, when I've literally played this out in role playing with people, they'll say in role playing, they'll say things like, how do you know that? And they're like startled. It's like, okay, I got to confess, I'm really not psychic. I might be psychotic, but I'm not psychic. I really don't know. The fact is that that's human experience. And when you explain to people, no, I'm not really psychic, I really don't know that. But what I do know is that people that are in this position here, like this specific position that I consult with, it's a very consistent group of people. Just like I have a set of clients that I consult with very, very closely. Most of them make more money than I do. And I've taught them through the wealth accumulation program, right? So most of them do everything better than me. They can all golf better than me. Even some play baseball better than I do. So it's cool to know that you can be the person that teaches people stuff, or you can be the person who solves problems for people. And by showing these powers, you recognize things in other people that no one else gets. Okay, no one else gets. Nobody else gets that they hurt today. And I'm telling you, they hurt. I used to tell people physical pain, and it's probably your lower back or your left knee. And we were right a remarkable percentage of the time, over 50% of the time, actually. Yeah, true. But I wanted to be more accurate than that. There's so many of these things, but these are 4 basic psychic powers: pain and the rejection, or the relationship issue. There's so many, but these 4 that we talked about just in this webinar today, if you take those and you incorporate those into how you communicate with people, say, you don't have to tell me what is bugging you, but I sense like you hurt, like somewhere in there you sting, and You don't have to go there if you don't want to, but if you want to, or something's bugging you about business, I can't quite put my finger on it. But if it's there and you want, I'm here. Like, what do you got?
Yeah, and be
You know?
genuine. So don't do it like a robot. I sense you have great pain. Don't do it like that.
Robots a disaster, right?
This is disastrous. So the person has great confidence in you, or they say, "Oh, really, Alex really gets me," but then I have to get the person to make a change in their life. You describe this in your books very well. Can you tell us a little bit about this? Because people don't like to change.
Right. Everybody wants to change, but nobody wants to do it, right?
Yeah,
So,
true.
because, so we stayed married to the same person forever, and we talk to the same people, we go to the same places, we do the same things, and we all say that, I'm going to do this better next year. I'm going to do this better, and none of those things ever happen. So how do we fix all that? So the deal is this is where, well, there's a couple pieces. The first thing is you have to sit there and ask a person to look at themselves and just say, there's a lot of questions you can ask, but one is like, who are you really? Like who, if this is one-on-one and I'm doing consulting or coaching, it's like, who is your business? Like, you're confused, you want to change, you have to change or you're going to die. We're going down. There's a lot of businesses that are going to go down right now. This is the time to reinvent, to shift, to move over, whatever you want to call it. People are going to have to adjust or get their butt kicked. That's the reality of where we're at right now. So you have to do it, and you have to sit there and you have to get inside of the person that you're talking to. And you got to sit there and think, now, I should be able to write the biography of my customer. People used to say you should know your customer. This is true, but you should be able to write their biography. Like, when you Facebook them, when you looked on Facebook today, like, what did you find out about them? Like, what kind of photos do they put up? Like, do they put up photos of their kids? Do they put up photos of their business? If you Google the person, what do you learn from that? Like, Google's an interesting thing. I mean, it really does a good job at revealing relevant search information. I should be able to know what this person is. I met a company one time, Auntie Anne's Pretzels. They're all over the world. And Anne was a religion, a Mennonite religion, what's called a Mennonite, and a very conservative religion. And I asked her, I said, how important is religion to your business? And she said, I don't know that I would have a franchisee that wasn't a Mennonite. And I was like, really? I go, that is amazing. Now, here's the thing. I asked the question that no one else would ever ask her. Just pause there, right? Who else would bring that up, right? And people expect this from me, right? All the time. It's like, I will ask people things that no one will ask them, okay? Because I really am curious. I genuinely want to understand and know, because I get feelings about people. I'm like, I like this person. I want them to do well. And I'm not going to try and change that. But I did ask her, I said, so what would happen if you found somebody who is a strong faith, they really believed in God, and even though they were wrong about a couple things, like they didn't go to the right church, but like, say that they were really, truly good people, like inside, truly good people, and that they might figure it out someday. Would you be willing to hire that person as a franchisee? And she said, yes. And we just made that little shift.
You nudge a little.
Just a little bump, right? And so you don't want to ask for the whole, like, damn it, you got to change right now. You have to have different things. Instead, we just say, what would happen if? Yeah, and you can do that. This is a
but you also started with people have a false sense of security by staying the same. And you just spoke about it a little bit, that if you stay the same, it's going downhill. So you have to.
Status quo is erosion.
Yeah.
Erosion. I don't know if this is going to translate to everybody. But basically, the status quo, if people, you've got to tell people, because this is the reality. If you're consulting, if you're working with small businesses, our friend Jay Abraham used to say, really, really smart man. He's still around. A friend of mine is actually doing his trainings for him. And he used to say, what got you here is not going to get you to the next step. Never has that been more true than now. So the way that you communicate this with your very astute consultee, the person that you're working with, is this. Say, here's the deal. I know how you got to here. You did this, you did this, you did this, you did this, and then you did this, and you didn't hurt anybody along the way. Now, here's the deal. These things, you were genius, absolute genius. And you weren't genius because you did those 5 things. You were genius because you were smart enough to figure out what 5 things needed to be done. The question now that I have for you is, what are the 5 things that are going to take you from here to here? Because we already know that the same things that got us here are not going to get us to the next step. So what are the things now? What's the process that we go to find the next 5 things to get us over here? I have a hunch, but before I put my hunch out, I'd really like to hear what your thoughts are. And now I listen and I sit there and I think, and I'm like, okay, is that likely to work? Likely to work? Likely to work? If usually people are on target pretty well about themselves, but they don't have any faith in their ability to go to the next step, something new, they get scared.
True. Yeah. So this is a great bridge to. I want to talk about your product, because you have a lot of products. Can you tell us about, for the viewers, because there's a lot of information. I love how fast you talk. It is a lot of great content. But the people who want to go to the next step, where do you guide them to?
Oh boy, guys, there's a lot of things. But so first of all, go to kevinhogan.com. Must stop by. Click on subscribe, because you lose nothing. All you can do is get smarter. And there's a pretty cool e-zine that I've published for 17 or 18 years. We started in 2002. It comes out about 3 times a month, maybe 4 times a month, every Sunday night, usually pretty close, about 45 times a year is what it is right now. That's worth getting. It directs you to pages that are not Googleable, which is kind of nice. So that's number 1. So that's going to get you pretty much the latest, like the loss aversion thing that we talked about earlier. That's the kind of a thing that I would talk about in coffee, but I'm not talking about loss aversion in coffee until the book comes out. But that's the kind of stuff that's going to go into Coffee with Kevin Hogan. That's the name of the e-zine. So that's number 1. Number 2, you can spend some money today and actually make a difference. Now, by the way, spending money is pretty important, right? Because think about this. When the criminal goes next door and steals something from the neighbor's house, right? Whatever it is, do they use it in a way to make their life better and actually have something good happen with it? No. All right. That's why they're criminals. That's why they go to places like jails and stuff like that. So I want you to think about this. Every time you actually do a good investment, there is something about money involved. Money is a survival tool. Wouldn't it be cool if we ended up with more? I've taken the last 4 years off. Okay. I've been traveling the world the last 4 years. I've lived in Bulgaria. I've lived in Poland. I've had a blast in Europe. I've been around. I've had a fun time. I've still been working. Don't think I haven't worked. I did the biggest gig in my life 2 years ago. It was a great time. All right. It was a great time. If you want to be able to take 4 years off and not worry and freak out about, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because everybody else on this planet is paycheck to paycheck. They have to work just to pay the bill next month. Wouldn't it be cool to learn to pay the bill and have them paid like for the next 4 years? And here's the deal. You should be able to, by the time you have a beard like this, you should be able to do it for 14 years. And you can, because if you just do a few things differently, I can't teach you in 1 day. I'm not that good. I can teach you in 10 weeks though, and I'll be here to kick your butt. It's called kevinhogan.com/wealth accumulation system. Those are hyphens in between wealth and accumulation and system. Go there, check it out. Just read the copy. By the way, you can read the copy just to see what the copy is, because the copy is actually pretty good and you can learn something from the copy. All right. I will read your mind in the copy. All right. And you'll see how to actually implement. But if you want to do something for your life, long-term future, wealth accumulation system is very cool. I love it. I'm there every week. And that's the difference between this and anybody who does anything similar. Everybody else just puts you into a program and they sort of like push play and it's there whenever you want it. This is not that. All right. This is, we start January 31st. Okay. And we start December 31st and we start at the end of every single month, and you're there with me for 10 weeks from that point. Yes, it's tiring, okay? But I'm with you. Like, so when you have a question, you're like, hey, Kev, how do I do this? How do you make that happen? Just like what Alex was saying, like, how do you read somebody's mind, do those psychic powers? You never would have known about that if Alex doesn't ask that, right? So you have the same situation with the wealth accumulation program. You've got me for 10 weeks, but I have an ulterior motive, so you should know about this. At the end of the 10 weeks, about 24% of the people that have taken this over the last 4 years become clients of mine long-term. Is it because I ask you? No, I will not ask you if you want to. I will not ask you to be my client, but the chances are extremely good that you'll ask me. That's weird, isn't it? All right. That's how I want you guys to have business work for you. I want people to ask you stuff. And that way, you know what happens then? You rule out the thing that I hate the most in life. Objections. Okay. Objections. I don't like objections. I don't like to hear no. I don't like to hear I think about it. I rather hear you say, Kev, I would like to work with you as a client, or have you as a mentor, and have you consult with my company for the next year. Is that interesting? It's like, and by the way, if it's interesting, I want it. And if I suck in your field, there's no chance I'll do it. So that's how that works, okay? So wealth accumulation system is worth a look. KevinHogan.com. And by the way, if you are interested in copywriting, just for the hell of it, I don't know why I thought about this today. One of our unpublished books, in other words, it's just available on ebook in one of our courses, a digital marketing course. You don't need to take the course, but we've talked about copywriting today. I wrote a book on copywriting. It's 250 pages long. It's pretty good, and has some of the stuff that we do. I've written all the copy. I'll send you a copy free. Just send me a note that said you subscribe to Coffee, and we'll send you a copy of it. And it'll be like, nobody has that outside of the course ever.
I love this. So I had a great time. Kev, did you have a great time?
This was a lot of fun, and I love being back in Amsterdam.
So yeah, you said you didn't know when you will be back because it's a little bit difficult in these times, but I love to see you here in person. So I tell everybody, all the viewers, go to Kevin's site. I'll put everything in the show notes. This was great, Kevin. Thanks.
You guys have a great day out there. Take care, everybody.